JD, I think we got a survivor. You okay?
Varası savaşta flash.
What?
Just trap for him.
I know you're not talking to me. So if you were talking to me, you'd have your face busted right now. You hear me? Okay.
And if you put your hand up.
All right, let's get everybody ready now.
Right. Now,
Reminding the zombies. First of all, you do need ear protection. We will be shooting guns.
Right?
Secondly, when you are shot,
This.
you do take a hit
I'm gonna
and
try
fall
to guide
down,
you, but-
and then you get up again. But you do play being hit by a bullet.
Now turn your
They
head.
shoot at you.
It looks, she
Our
does it herself.
task,
I just do
handling the
this.
guns. To be
don't
reminded,
go away
do
of me.
not
He's
ever
going in,
point
right?
at
have to come
eyes,
in.
heads, anything
Don't go
above
away
waist
from
level.
Okay.
Do not shoot at zombies if they're any closer than 10 feet to
Gotcha.
you.
Okay.
Then it looks.
Okay, let me see.
This is only the move is this.
Everybody understand? Stand by, 1 second. Beginning position is the far position. Cut.
Okay, yeah, I'm cool.
Cut again.
You okay? You sure? JD!
You okay?
Bitch bit me. She took a chunk clean right out of me.
Stay down.
She's crazy.
Action.
3, 2, 1, go!
See, they tried to cover my luscious lips, you know, and make them look all dead and corroded. That's because they're just so red.
So beautiful lips.
We would all have.
No, fantastic. That was fantastic. That was great. Great action there. Terrific. Very good.
I don't think that's very nice for you to be shooting when a director is giving direction to his actor. Because what if the actor didn't like the direction that the director was giving? Then you'd have your face all shoved up in his, and then I think that's... Really?
It's okay, I'm with a little smile once in a while.
Being the production designer and the costume designer really came into its own, because I knew what I was designing with the sets, and I could then create a whole image, a complete image. Everything had this wonderful kind of monochromatic shine to it. When you first see them, they all look the same. All these black commandos, they've got these gas masks on that we mirrored the actual glass in here, so you couldn't see their eyes, which is always quite scary. But then as you get to see each one of them individually, each one has got a slightly individualized costume. costume. The back on each one is different. They were armed to the teeth as well, with guns. We took ordinary guns because we wanted them to be real. The communication thing was in here, which was an adapted mobile phone. When they wanted to go through doorways, they had these jack plugs here that they could pull out from their costume, and they jack into a doorway and make it open.
There was one dress that was so good because it was a mini skirt and the dress together, and we wanted to show my legs, we wanted to show my body because she fights, and it's nice to be able to see somebody's body when they're doing stunts and doing fights and seeing the shape of things.
By the end, she's this real kick-ass, sexy, kicking all jumping commando. It's fantastic.
By wearing that dress, I gave her a lot of problems because, she had bare arms, so you can't wear pants. For example, in the closing sequence where she's fighting the creature, she's like getting crashed all over the place. She's rolling around, she's on bare metal gratings, getting dragged across them. At the end of the movie, her character, Alice, was covered in bruises and cuts, and I got to tell you, those cuts and bruises, they're not makeup, they're there for real. That's how she ended up at the end of the film.
What I like about her is she's just, a go-getter. Kind of like, I don't care. And she gets to shoot a machine gun, and...
I'm on it.
I mean, it's like being a kid and playing Commando. Only thing, you never had the realistic toys, like, machine guns with dummy bullets in them and, crazy little gadgets and gears that you get to, put on. It really does give you this intense feel.
We started off with the first visuals of the creature from the game, and then increased it in size, made it more predatory, made it much more aggressive. This creature has never been made before.
Its brain popping out, and it's got the crazy fangs of a dog, just protruding out of its spotted gums. I mean, the detail on this creature is just amazing.
We wanted to make it a lot more powerful, a lot more threatening. We actually built two main creatures. One was more gross movement for battering ram. He was quite heavy steel inside him, reinforced, and we could throw him at windows and doors. The second one was a much more controlled one, radio-controlled face, the jaw splits, the two teeth at the front come out, move around independently and together. The head is a much more controlled movement. The puppeteer at the back of the creature, every movement that he does is directly corresponds to the front end of the creature. The movements of it are based around real animals. The jaw drops and splits like an anaconda, and to accommodate the tongue. It's a lot of it is all based on real stuff. The way the skin's been sculpted is based on anatomical real skin. It's because it's a mixture of real creatures that's been put together genetically.
Whenever you like.
Right, stand by.
Action! tick.
That totally looks real. That's great. That looks like it's really, really there. I think that's why I suddenly feel like, you know, when you get to the boil shot, it's a different tongue because it looks completely different. You know, because
scatter feel all the way
I think so, yeah. Otherwise, it just looks like two completely different tongues. So that she's aiming at that. Yet when she hits, it looks like that. So I was glimpsing it. I just thought if you just tipped up slightly, we'd be able to see the brain, but then come low enough so that we get the teeth action as he rears back.
We can limit exactly the position how far they can come out. Scared by himself. Your arm is much bigger and that's the problem for him. So it's too far away from him.
Beautiful and gooey and yucky and...
It's scary, it's disturbing, and then you can go home and have a nice cup of cocoa.
What's that?
Something happening in there. Kaplan, you gotta hurry, you gotta help them.
What happens is the laser turns into a grid and passes through his body, just dicing him, effectively. So we started with the actor in a position that we liked for the dicing. Then what we did was we built a full-scale model of him.
This is where his face will fall apart in the foreground. You can see the background's a little out of focus, but the idea is that now this will go out of focus and the focus will go back to the background action. The idea with the head is that we have a foreground shot. So if you were the camera looking at me and I was in the foreground, in the background, over my right shoulder, over the actor's right shoulder, you'll see my face like this and you'll see a piece of it fall off.
1, 2, 3.
And then we had that full-scale model cubed and fall apart. And you see that happen. But rather than see it happen in miniature or see it happen digital, you see it effectively happen for real.
You can see all the green poles going in. Inside those sleeves are other sleeves. They're connected in the back end so that we can pull out different parts. The men can pull out different parts of the body so they can fall and we can film it all. But this will be in the background, his back part as a reflection. So even though we're looking at his face, in the background we'll see this reflection on the wall, so we have to shoot his backside.
I mean, they're going to cut me up. They're going to slice me. Pulled me onto the floor in a bag. A little bag, I'm surprised. Shit.
You do the shot?
Yes.
And he does this bit?
Yeah.
At the end of the shot, just say lower your hand. And then we'll have
clean place of him without his hand.
Without having
Okay, well, we'll just do the action for you when he keeps his arms
on
down. Yeah, all right.
Excellent. When we're done, we're going to peel off pieces from here. You'll do the move again just to get empty sets. First, we'll peel off the medic, then we'll move a bag. Then we'll
But can we just see the end position first?
Yeah, see the end position.
Stay conscious. We're going into shot. Stay away!
Well, I get my head cut off.
which was really upsetting. Obviously, I had to have a cast made of my head, but when I saw it, it was really upsetting to see yourself dead, but you know, perfectly replicated.
This is the first time we see the laser cut a slice of her throat. It's the first shot. We'll be adding blood to this area.
All right.
Everybody who doesn't need to be there, step out. Okay. That camera, we're doing the place now.
Right.
Yes. And we go back to 24 frames a minute. Yeah.
So we're going to take this head off the body, pull it off the blue screen, and there he goes.
Got it.
$40, $12, $41, $42, $44. This is 42.
We wanted to create something new. You know, if people want to see something new, if they've played the game, they want to go to a different place now. It's almost like doing a kind of live-action version of a new version of the game. Avoided anything that's too cartoony and tried to use just always contemporary technology. We've tried to avoid anything that's too obviously science fiction. We went back to what is available technology and we've used that. We also visited a lot of contemporary bunkers. We went to some nuclear bunkers in England, nuclear bunkers in Germany, and you know, some from the 60s, some from the 70s, and some that were only built about 10 or 12 years ago. There's a couple of contemporary Japanese architects who just do the most wonderful buildings above ground in concrete, and it's, you know, it was a perfect look to use for below ground. It looks very strong, and you know, so we use that as inspiration, just that kind of pre-stressed concrete look. The shape of the control room is a triangle, and partly that was inspired because there are big scenes in there that there's a lot of talk goes on in them, and so you needed to have some interesting angles, and the shape of that room, you know, really gave you that. And we set the desk down slightly so that you'd have an eye line straight through from the corridor and you'd be able to see all the people. One of the big things that we really wanted to achieve with the design of this film was the whole idea of labyrinths. When you play the game, you walk down corridors, they go around corners, you never know what's going to be around that corridor. The spaces and the angles are designed to be very disorienting, and that's one of the big things we wanted to take from the game. sets, I've very consciously tried to design everything to be either like a labyrinth or to be at least very kind of visually disorienting, so that you can't get a grasp on where you are.
This train tracks is a service train for this secret organization that's underground, and the duty of the train is to move cargo from the dock into the laboratories. A real train was used for the sets and for the people to get in.
The train was quite a big number for us. It was actually pretty much the biggest thing we had to do on the film, not in terms of size, but just in terms of the amount of engineering that went into it and what it had to do. The tracks underneath here were too deep for the train, so we had to build the whole thing up about 2 or 3 feet and build about 200 or 300 meters of rostrum that were strong enough to hold a 12-ton train. There's a whole miniature unit that's back in London that has taken the designs from the train and has built our train exactly in miniature.
Again, the train is built to match the train in the movie on the set. Pieces have been taken off during the photography and pieces are taken off during the wreck, but it's an 8th scale train. The track started down there and came the whole 150 feet here, which in scale would have been 1,200 feet of a real train. It was driven by wires, by a drill. We had 2 drills. One was marked train and one was marked camera. And when the train takes off in the set, we cut to a shot here where it continues and goes into the tunnel. So it goes from real to fake.
Hey guys, it's Lisa with a cool movie extra fact now. Rick Baker is one of the most well-known makeup artists in the film industry. His work has been used in such films as Star Wars, King Kong, The Exorcist, Videodrome, Men in Black, The Ring, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But it was his work on An American Werewolf in London which caused the Academy Awards to create a whole new category for makeup effects just so Baker could get his golden statue for his efforts. As of 2018, Baker has won that award 7 times. Do you like my shirt? You can get one for yourself in the shop section under the video.